All right, good afternoon or good morning, students. Today we are going to be doing review. So I'd encourage you to give this review a try before this video and see how you do, and then go through and watch the video to get help. Don't forget, this is open book. You can use your book as much as you would like. Your student journal is a great resource for both the review and the test. So use those resources. All right, write it in the standard form, identify degree, leading coefficient, and the polynomial. So x squared minus 7x plus 5. So that's standard form. Identify the degree. Degree is 2. Leading coefficient. What's the leading coefficient? The leading coefficient for this one is 1. Remember, if there's no number here, it means it's a 1. And classify the polynomial. This is a trinomial. Okay, and please write degree and LC so I know what you're referring to. All right, write this in. So I'll write it over here so it's not so messy. Z to the 7th plus 5z to the 6th plus z. So we have the degree is 7. The leading coefficient is negative 1.5. Degree is 7, leading coefficient, and it is also a trinomial. Oh shoot, that's supposed to be for right here. Degree equals 7, leading coefficient is negative 1.5, and it's a trinomial. Okay. Find the sum or difference. So when I have a subtraction, I have to add the opposite. So I'm adding the opposite. That becomes a negative and that becomes a negative. So I have 2b to the third. I don't have any other 2b to the third. So 2b to the third. And then, let's see, I have a b, negative 5b, negative 7b. So that gives me a negative 12b. Oh, and then I have this negative 3b squared. So there, this to the third can't be combined with anything here. These two b's are like terms. Those are the only like terms I have in this set. Those are my like terms. And the b squared can't be added to anything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write this in standard form, which would be 2b to the third minus 3b squared minus 12b. Always write your answers in standard form. Whether asked or not, write your answers in standard form. All right, so for 7, it's addition, so I just leave this alone. When this is addition, that just stays the same. So let's find our like. We have a negative x, a 12x. We have a 3 and a negative 8. So let's just go ahead and write it in standard form straight away. So I've got this one first, negative 11x squared. And then I'll take my x's. I have negative 1x, positive 12. So that's 11x. So it's 12x minus 1x. And then negative 8, positive 3. So negative 8 plus 3 would be negative 5. So negative 11x squared plus 11x minus 5. All right, find the product. I would love it if you guys did boxcar troll, because I have seen way fewer mistakes when you've used the boxcar troll method. So I have a and 5 on that side. I have a and negative 3 on that side. And I just multiply. A times a is a squared. It's negative 3a. It's 5a. That's negative 15. So if I write it in standard form, I have a squared minus 3a plus 5a minus 15. I've got like terms right there. So I have a squared. Negative 3 plus 5 is plus 2. So there's my product. I'm going to multiply those. So I have a squared plus 2a minus 15. All right, and number 11. So I'm going to do number 11 on a different piece of paper. So I've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So I've got 7x x squared, 6x negative 8. So you see x squared, 6x negative 8, 7, and x. So this is 7x squared, 42x, negative 56. So that's x to the third power, 6x squared, negative 8x. All right, so let's try and write these in order. So I have x to the third, and then I have plus 7x squared plus 6x squared plus 42x minus 8x minus 56. So now I'm going to have to combine my like terms. So I have x to the third plus 13x squared, 34 plus 34x minus 56. Oh no, did I not show all that? Okay, let's move on to 13. You do not have to do. So factor each polynomial completely. 14, you get a try at that. Let's see, 15. Well, straight away, there's something I can take out of both of them. They both have a 5, or multiples of 5. So I've got 5 times y squared minus 4. Now, this is something you're going to have to pay attention to in the test, because you are going to have some of these, and you are going to have to factor it completely. This is a perfect square minus a perfect square. So pay attention. Perfect square minus perfect square. What that means is can be further broken down to y plus 2, y minus 2. So there it is. That's the completely factored one right there. 5 times y plus 2 times y minus 2. So if you have two squares that are subtracted, that's the factoring of two squares that are subtracted. I did a whole lesson on special squares. Okay, 17. Oh gosh, these are lame. Okay, so there's nothing I can pull out of it. Oh yeah, I can pull out a b. So I have 3b to the third minus 13b squared plus 10b. Let's pull out a b. So I'm left with 3b squared minus 13b plus 10. Now, when I'm at this point, what I do is, let's get the solution, not so many numbers in front of the camera. Go ahead and I know to get 3b squared, I need 3b times b. Now my factors of 10 And they're both going to be minus. I'm going to have two minuses. Since this is positive, I know that both of these are going to be either minus or plus. Since this is minus, I know they're both going to be minus. Okay. Now I have to get to negative 13b. Let's see. So now I have to do my little happy face, or double happy face. So I have negative 2b, and I have negative 15b. Real, that's negative 17, so that doesn't work. Dang it. So, how about, so this is the real deal. This is guessing and checking, my friends. Okay, so how about negative 10, negative 1? So that's negative 10b, negative 3b, negative 13b. There it is. So there's my complete factoring. And it's guessing and checking. That's as good as it gets right there. It's guessing and checking. So I go to, what is this, number 17? Don't forget that B. If you miss that B, you're going to lose half your credit. All right. Now let's go for number 19. 16t squared minus 24t plus 9. Oh my. This one sucks. 4 times 3 is 12. Oh, I see what they did here. These are two squares. These are two perfect squares. So let's check if we have let's check and see if that works. So the factors of 16 are 1, 16, 2, 8, 4, and 4. Factors of 9 are 3 and 3. So I got 4 and 4, 3 and 3. So I got negative 12t and negative 12t. Negative 24t. Wow, that could have been a really sucky one. You guys are probably glad that was an odd. These are by far the hardest ones. So if you're wrestling with factoring trinomials where the leading coefficient is not 1, yeah, I struggle with it too. So don't worry too much about it. We're pretty much done with learning new factoring for geometry. This one, don't forget, split it up into two groups. You're going to factor out of this one. You're going to factor out of this one. Okay. This is just like lesson 2.8. All right. Find the x-coordinates of the points where the graph crosses the x-axis. So they want us to use the method that they taught us, which is factoring. So for this, I could pull out a 7 and an x, and I'm left with x minus 3. So then if I want my zeros, if I want them to be zeros, I put it equal to 0, right? Where it crosses the x-axis, that's where it's 0. So I have 7x equals 0, and then I have x minus 3 equals 0. Divide by 7, so I have x equals 0. And then I have x equals 3. Oh, shoot. I was supposed to do this one. Oh, and this is where you split it up into 2. Anyways, so this, x equals 0. Oh, sure enough, I can check myself. That's where it crosses. X equals 3, 1, 2, 3. There it is. So those are my answers, x equals 0 and x equals 3. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this one because I'd like to show you where you factor by pairing. So for this, we're going to pair like this. And I'm going to take out a 5x squared, and I'm left with x minus 1. And then for this side, I'm going to take out a negative 20. So negative 20, so I'm left with a positive x, and I'm left with a negative 1. So now I've got an x minus 1 and an x minus 1. So I can actually factor that set out, and I'm left with 5x squared minus 20. Now, what I could do is I could factor out of this. So I have x minus 1. I could factor 5 out of this. So I'm left with x squared minus 4. And now I look, okay, once again, we run into this squared, perfect square, and a perfect square, and they're subtracted. Perfect square subtracted perfect square is x plus 2, x minus 2. It's the square root plus the square root, and the square root minus the square root. And then don't forget you have the 5, and then you have the x minus 1. So when I look at this, if I want to equal the zeros, I have x minus 1 equals 0. This doesn't have an x, so I don't have to deal with that. I have x plus 2 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. And now I have a potential for 3 answers. And you know how I know that is because this is to the third power. So that means I have a potential for 3 answers. This one was to the second power. I had a potential for 2 answers. This one I have a potential for 3 answers. So I have x equals 1, x equals negative 2, and x equals 2. So now let's go check our little graph. Negative 1, negative 2. So there I have my negative 2. There's a 1. There's a 1. There's a 2. How about that? So I just found my zeros through factoring. All right. These ones we're going to start to do on a different piece of paper. So solve this equation. Oh, nope, I'm not getting tricked into that again. That's an even one. All right, odd. So I have 20m squared, yes, 40m equals 0. So I'm going to factor out 20m. I'm left with m minus 2. And we need to solve. So once I get to this point, I have 20m equals 0, m minus 2 equals 0, divide by 20, m equals 0, add 2 to both sides, m equals 2. So for number 23, m equals 0, m equals 2. 25. B squared minus 11b equals negative 10. Okay, well first I have to write this in standard form. So I'm going to add my 10 to both sides. And what I get is b squared minus 11b plus 10 equals 0. Now, I have this trinomial here, and I don't have anything to take out. I don't have anything to pair, so I'm going to have to factor this trinomial straight away. So don't forget, I take my factors of 10, and I see which ones can add or subtract up to negative 11. So I see that this is positive, so that means these are either both negative or both positive. So if I put them both negative, negative 1, negative 10 equals negative 11. Oh gosh, I forgot the b's. Negative 1, negative 10. Now I'm not done because it does ask me to solve. So I have b minus 1 equals 0, and b minus 10 equals 0. B equals 1, b equals 10. There it is. So what number was that? 25. All right, and you see there's a lot of work that goes along with these. You do not have to do 26 or 27 or 28. And that's it. So make sure you are showing all of your work for these, and please ask questions because the test is going to be pretty much exactly like this. So please ask questions. All right, have a wonderful afternoon. Oh, and if you want to give these a try for extra credit, that'd be kind of fun. All right, peace out.